On today's show, why advisors should be aware of underwriting and administration advantages. Part 5 of this week's series on business owner and executive solutions with Principal's Regional Vice President, Sherry Flint. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician in Insmart. Let's get down to business. Welcome to the show, Sherry.
Thank you for having me.
5 straight days. Are you surviving?
I'm exhausted.
You will?
In a great way.
In a good way. Well, I can be exhausting. Yes. I want to talk about underwriting, and this is really strange because I look at certain carriers, and I always say, that's an impaired risk carrier. That's a substandard carrier. And I would say for the last 5 years, this is just my observation, personal observation, Principal has really become a major player in impaired risk. And to me, 5 years ago, that was a surprise. Now you're actually a player in here, and you're doing significant underwriting issues. Now, the reason we bring this up is because there's some programs we want to talk about, because we talk about all week long. We have business documents. We have all kinds of fiduciaries on a team that really support you. The brochures and the support collateral material that Principal has is so great for business especially. But it doesn't matter if we can't underwrite it. And so here's this area where we talk about underwriting. Walk me through. Let's talk about traditional underwriting programs first.
Well, we have a couple traditional underwriting programs. You know, we have a team of just phenomenal underwriters that are very experienced in the marketplace. We have programs like healthy lifestyle credits. We look at your overall picture. Are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Are you doing the things that add proactively to a risk profile? We also have a standard table shape program, table 3 to standard. And so some of the traditional programs that have been around for years, we actively use when looking at cases. And you know what I like about our underwriting team is they're always accessible. You have a question on one of your underwriting offers, let's get on the phone and talk about it. Let's figure out, our goal is there a way we can help you place this case, right? Not, we don't want the risk. How can we help you place this case? What are some of the things that we can all look at together to make this happen?
When I'm looking at traditional underwriting, and there's a lot of people that shave, shaving programs. A lot of people have lifestyle credits. And if that was okay, you would be among many. But I have noticed a pattern developing over the last, as I said, 5 years. I've noticed, though, that you guys, it seems like you're dipping the toe into substandard market and becoming a player. There's a few that I'm thinking in my mind have been players in this market forever. But now you all of a sudden being named among those same. So it isn't just the shade, it's got to be beyond that. When I'm looking at some of I love access to underwriters, always do, because sometimes I feel like we can't even talk to them, because they're so high up in the echelon of human physiology, I can't even understand the medical issues. But when I'm looking at underwriting from a performance point of view, I think you guys have walked into the area where you said, I want to own a niche in this. And it seems like you've actively pursued this. Would that be a fair observation? Yeah,
I would say that our team is just very good at assessing risk. And I would say that they've looked at the marketplace and they're, let's put it this way. When I'm out in the field, I consistently get praise for our underwriting team and their approach to underwriting, looking at all the different possibilities and ways we can approach a case. And so I would say that's a fair assessment.
Now, I know you guys do regular guaranteed issue and simplified issue. Those are up there. But I want to kind of actually talk about your $1 million face with no meds. Now, when I first saw that, I was like, okay, so everybody's standard. That was my first reaction. Talk a little bit about that, why it's a little bit different than most carriers who put out, hey, I have $1 million a face and you don't need meds.
Well, I will tell you that accelerated underwriting for us is a game changer. We started piloting it a year ago and we rolled it out formally in January of this year. And really what it is, it's an approach to underwriting where we say, you know what, there's always a certain fact pattern or individuals that are going to be preferred or super preferred. We pretty much know, a lot about what they do, how they get to preferred or super preferred. And so we said, what if there were a way that we could actually predict without medical, without fluids, without labs, predict that somebody's going to be preferred or super preferred without putting them through the full medical, right? We want to save money, we want to save time, we want to minimize buyer's remorse. And so our team came out with a program called Accelerated Underwriting. And what that essentially allows us to do is get up to $1 million a face, possibly with no meds or no fluids, and have an answer within 48 hours. It's a very unique program. And so let me tell you how it works. So essentially, let's say you were going to apply for accelerated underwriting. If I were the advisor, I would take Part A of the application, Part C of the application, and then Part B is going to be done as a tele-app. Now, a tele-app is a phone interview with one of our employees. We've been doing this for years, and there's going to be some reflexive questioning. I'm going to ask you about what medication you're taking. We're going to ask you how much you're taking, how frequently. You're going to sing like a songbird and tell me all about your medical history. Now, from there, I'm going to submit that the application. We're going to have the tele app done. I'm going to, as the advisor, I'm going to have you do it while I'm at the appointment. I'm going to call the phone number. I'm going to send you in the other room and have you answer those questions. I'm going to pull your driver's license. I'm looking for reckless behavior or DUIs. I'm going to pull your prescription check. And then I'm also going to look at the MIB. I'm going to take all of those things and I'm going to throw them into an algorithm. And within 48 hours, I'll come back and tell you whether we need additional medical information. And if we do not, which happens 60% of the time, we're going to put you through, we're going to issue a policy up to $1 million a face within typically 7 business days.
Well, I love the turnaround, and I love 48 hours. I just want to know, do we need to go forward or not? And I don't want to put in any more time into the underwriting process than I have to. I'm thinking, when I'm looking at you, you introduced this about a year ago. This has been a huge, successful program.
Oh, it's wildly successful. We are doing about 500 applications a month from all of our partners.
Just in this area?
Just in accelerated underwriting. Now, I will tell you that early on, the results are it's 90% term insurance, but it's for any permanent product. So it could be any of our current assumptions, any of our guaranteed. We can do up to $2 million on SUL, right? Survivorship. So it's a great...
On the same platform.
On the same platform, accelerated underwriting. So again, the ages are 18 to 60. We have a higher success ratio with the 18 to 50, obviously, less medical concerns. The key is the positioning. We have a one-page knockout list. So if you have any of these major medical conditions or bad driving history, all that stuff, you know what, you're probably not going to get through preferred. You might get preferred or super preferred, but you might not get through the accelerated underwriting process. So we're going to have a knockout sheet. And the positioning is key because there's 2 things that might happen. One is you might go through accelerated underwriting and something might kick you out. And so you might have to go through full underwriting. And we do random checks. Part of our quality control is to make sure that the integrity of the program is intact. So you might get pulled for a random check. So what I like to tell people is we have a carrier that we can start the underwriting process, and we'll know within 48 hours if we actually have to do formal medical and underwriting requirements.
Well, I love the idea of being able to kind of in 48 hours to see if I need to proceed. And I love the turnaround. And you guys are underwriting. I say that even traditional underwriting now is a real head turner. And I must say, remember, if you have cases right now and you're here watching this show, remember, fourth quarter, for whatever reason, I've noticed that there's a little benevolency there. So I'm just pointing that out. We come back from the break. I want to talk about the admin issues because this is what this whole week, if you've gotten anything underscored about this whole week, it's been huge support, major collateral material, great PowerPoints, major support online with online calculators, all this. I think this is where I want to go when I'm talking about business area, and I want to talk about admin right after the break. It's not how much money you make for your clients, it's how much money they get to keep, especially in retirement. But retirement income could cause Social Security benefits to be taxed. One tax advantage alternative is life insurance designed as a non-modified endowment contract that can generate tax-free income without taxing Social Security benefits. These contracts offer differing funding options depending upon your client's risk tolerance. For more information on how life insurance can be part of your retirement planning, just email me at steve@downtobusiness.tv. Brought to you by Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, we're back for segment 2. We're with Sherry Flint. Sherry, we're talking about business administration. The first part we talked about underwriting, but you know, admin issues. If we've gotten anything out of this whole week, it's you have a huge fiduciary team. So I'm looking to CPAs and attorneys. I can put these people in front of other CPAs and attorneys, let them talk, and I can present myself as the quarterback or the central liaison for my clients' concerns. I love that idea as an advisor. I also love, and as I said about 4 shows back, I talked about DI month back in May. I used only Principal's stuff out on the web on the largest blogosphere out there, and I cannot tell you how many views that were on there, just thousands and thousands of views. Picking up Principal's collateral on disability, oddly enough. Think about that. That's a secondary product. I want to talk about admin issues that are really unique to you, to Principal, and why this works inside of Bose. This is what I think is really a thing we want to really underline, because I'm getting that there's huge support I've never heard really being bantered by many carriers, especially in business. So talk to me about admin.
You know, Bose is an all-encompassing story, right? We want to provide support to open conversations, proposals to move conversation forward, expertise to actually sell those cases. But what happens at the end of the day without administration? So part of our overall platform is the before, the during, and the after. The after is critical. So when we're looking at administering in the business marketplace, we have a dedicated team that's been around for years, over 30 years, we have a team of professionals. Not only do they understand how insurance works, they actually understand concepts, key person, supplemental retirement plans, estate equalization. So all the things that we've been talking about all week, this team of professionals understands not only the insurance and the role it plays, but they understand the concepts that they're funding. And that's really important. So think of it this way. If you are a business owner and you want to add a person to your executive bonus plan, and you call up, what do I need to get that in place? What kind of products do I need? What forms do I need? You know what? That team is very knowledgeable on what are the rules and regulations specific to that concept. What are the things that we need to communicate to not only the customer, but the advisor, and how do we get that started? So what we find is that we have a higher level of persistency on that block of business because we have dedicated folks administering those plans.
When I'm looking at the overall Bose platform, here's kind of an outsider's point of view. I see first contact issues. Almost every advisor always tells me, Steve, I have a great opportunity. That's the first line out of their mouth. Huge opportunity, but I've never been in this business arena before. I have to do a very good job on my first contact. This is where I think, principal, you guys kind of stand out in my view, is because I had the collateral material and the ability to get somebody online on my first contact. I got to make an impression. I may not get another shot, and I got a shot at a huge opportunity here. This is where I like this partnership that you have with us as a distributor, because I think that's where a lot of advisors are. They want to play in this arena. They know it's lucrative, but they just don't know about coming out on a first contact interview. And I can't go alone. I just can't. And a lot of guys will just say, I'm just not doing it. Now I have the opportunity to have a partner with me from day one get-go, and if we get far enough down the road, on location. Now, when we talk about the first contact, I want to talk about this during the sales process, because another thing that breaks down in admin issues on sales, I never usually put the word admin and sales in the same sentence, right? It seems to be antithetical. But when I'm looking at it with this is, okay, we got through this, we're going the underwriting process, we're doing the legal docs, there's questions, attorneys need to be talking to each other. And you guys are traffic copying that issue, which I've never seen anybody else do that before.
We want to be involved in cases. We have so much expertise in this market. We can provide guidance. We technically don't give tax and legal advice, but we certainly can share with business owners and their centers of influence, their attorneys, their CPAs. We can share with them best practices that we see. Of course, we have sample legal documents. But more importantly, at the end of the day, we administer everything we do. We have over 30 concepts that we support. Bonus plans, CERT plans, LLC bonus plans. We have over 30 concepts. We have over 30,000 participants in those plans that we record keep. So here at the end of the day, it's great to have a concept. We need to make sure that the insurance is healthy. We don't want to blow up a policy and ruin somebody's supplemental retirement plan, right? We want to make sure that the policies are taken care of. We want to make sure that the participants have online access to their information. They get annual statements. We want to make sure that the employer gets list billing, that if they need to add somebody, it's very simple and easy. So, we oftentimes don't talk about the administration, but oftentimes that is the most critical component. That is the ongoing success.
Sherry, I mean, I'm not trying to be the typical advisor here, but I'm just doing it by the basis of my email traffic to me every day. Steve, I hate to shepherd these issues. I don't want to do it. I don't have time to do the maintenance issues. This is where having a partner that's really deep with you in this area really helps, because so many of my people are just not going to micromanage their practice at that level. If I know that once I say, okay, I know I have to get this done, I'm now deferring to my team. My team is going to take it, and I'm out. Until they need me to make any communication, I come back in and make it with the client. That, to me, that sales process, that's a big issue, I think, and that's a huge thing to underscore in this segment. And the last part is sales done, everything's in force. I don't know how to do a proper annual review based on what your team has done, because I kind of deferred to you, and I want to know what's that like. Doing something that, when you're reviewing something that somebody else did, that's one thing. Reviewing something that you put in place and you helped us put in place a year ago, that's another thing.
That's a good point, because I've sold, I've worked with advisors on deferred compensation plans over the years, and a lot of those advisors, some of them don't even have insurance background. So how do you do an annual plan review? So part of what our team can provide is best practices. What would you want to include in an annual review? What do you take with you? So we have all the annual reports and the participant statements, so we can help with that. But we can actually help you put together that information for that meeting. What would you cover with the business owner? How's it going to be important? Let's look at the list bill, the policies. Let's look at, we basically prepare a report that lists all the policies, their current values, their contributions, and so we actually can help them with that point of sale, that ongoing service.
To me, this is a huge issue, and I don't want to lose it. When I'm looking at annual reviews, I have to prep for that. And that takes time. And that's why a lot of it, it's not that advisors don't want to see their clients, is that they have to prep for it, and it takes time. If I'm sitting there going back to a product that I partnered with Principal on, and Principal's coming back with talking points for my review, and all I have to do is show up and run through it, I love things like that. To me, you're giving an ease of partnership. Again, I don't want to say that we're not a detailed and a shepherding people, but just based on the behavior of my last 30 years of dealing with agents and registered reps, I've seen a propensity for certain things, and I think this could be a huge issue.
Well, and remember, every single case that's sold in the business marketplace with Principal has a dedicated service person. That person you can call, ask questions about the plan, about the insurance, about next steps, about best practices. You know what? Their job is to have your back, to make sure that if you need Form 101J, that you get it in a timely manner, that it's on file. It's to make sure that your documents are current and up to date. So you have a partner with our administration team. They've been doing it for years. They're very good at it. And you know what? It's going to help your persistency.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, or your broker-dealer compliance officer. Missed an episode? Just go out to our site at downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. Want to email me? steve@downtobusiness.tv. And remember, you could be wiser as an Ash Brokerage advisor. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you tomorrow.